All right, fellow SKFL fans, we've got a lot of people on the line today. With me today, we have AJ for his second appearance. AJ, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Rob. How are you?
I am well. We've got Carlos for the first time. Carlos, how are you doing?
Doing amazing, sir.
Fresh off a big win yesterday.
Yes, sir.
And then we have Mr. SKFL right now, leader in points, 3-0 in the almighty, in quotations, Carl, Mr. Jeffrey Tager.
Carl.
Yeah. King of the Carl. It's been a while. I think it's been about 4 years since I sat on top of the Carl. So I'm enjoying this one. A little hungover. Group got together and watched the Monday night game. Had a few too many whiskey sodas for sure.
Well, I'm prepping early for the debate because I don't know if I can handle it. So I got a little White Claw action going here.
Man.
Of course, it is 8 o'clock here, so it's socially acceptable at this point.
Carlos, what team is that on your hat?
You know, greatest team on earth, baby. Pittsburgh Steelers. Mr. Stilly McBeam.
When are the Steelers going to beat a real team?
Oh,
When aren't we? Come on. 3-0.
All right. Well, hey, let's just jump right into some reactions from last week's games. First off, what I considered the game of the week, just from a trash talking perspective, we had Yusuf eking out against Casey. It was kind of interesting. Went down to about the last 5 minutes where Kelsey hit one over the middle, kind of cinched it for him. IAC was in the top 4 in my rankings last week. He's down to 0-3, only put up 207. Valdez Scantling put up a 2. Lazard stole all his catches. Yusuf's team wasn't overly, exciting either. Any thoughts from you guys on this?
Well, I'll jump in first.
okay.
I actually got to watch the game with pretty much Yusuf and Casey the whole day. I mean, we were watching together the red zone, Sunday, and brutal loss for IAC. I mean, being able to kind of like debate between what wide receiver 3 he was going to play, tracking to see if Devontae was going to be out all day, through Scantling in there. The Sunday night game, he's going in feeling good. He's got 2 guys going against Dobbins and Kelsey. And then Aaron Jones, actually, if you watch that game late, he actually had a touchdown in the fourth quarter that got called back. Basically, like they went to review. It was clear he went in. It actually swung the game like he would have won. I mean, they reviewed it and they said he was down, which was like complete garbage. Like he was complete over. And then then it carried over to Monday where you're getting together and you're watching the game. And, Clyde Hilaire was a machine catching the ball to the backfield. They didn't utilize that much. And then, it came down to the last drive where Kelsey hit a big one where it could have gone to Clyde Hilaire and it swings the game. So one of those epic kind of SKFL games that you hope for coming down to Monday night. But said all along, I mean, I thought IAC's team was a little overrated. It's been buoyed by a couple big plays. I mean, you take Mostert's 2 80-yard touchdowns away and Aaron Jones's 80-yard touchdown. You can't count on that consistently. Those are 100 of his points. You take those 3 plays away and just say you give him 20-yard runs on those, like he's still sitting at 0-3. So 0-3 out of the Carl, things have happened before where you can come back from that, but definitely a crazy game. Yusuf definitely feels like he stole one. I don't know, how he feels right now, but I would imagine at 2-1, surviving 2 matchups against Ian and IAC, he's got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. 2-1 with those total points. You got to be counting your lucky stars. Your thoughts, AJ and Los?
Yeah, I don't. It was a good game. I was there for the night game. They had, last night's game, and that came down to the wire, as Jeff was saying. I don't know what Yusuf's going to do going forward, though. The Mitchell Trubisky getting benched. I don't know if that 2-1 is going to lead to any more wins for him. And with Tannehill at the helm, I don't know. So I don't know. He needs Drew Lock back, of course. But when I looked at it before the game, I like what Casey did as far as his lineup. I think he maximized his lineup. Yusuf's he'll get mad at this, but whatever. I thought Casey was for sure going to win. I thought this was a win for him when I just looked at it on paper. But
that Gallup 39 on the bench hurts.
Yeah, hurts big time. And I can see what he was doing with the with Valdez there, because you thought that was going to be a shootout, and you thought, okay, Devontae's out. You know what I mean? He'll definitely get some. And
beef on that deal.
Yeah, he lost it on that one. So yeah, tough game.
Yusuf's tough with his running backs and Kelsey. He should be getting Samuel back soon, so that'll definitely help him get Williams out of there. But, Casey with Gallup on the bench, Seattle's the worst secondary in NFL history through 3 games. It makes you wonder, what was Casey thinking with Gallup on the bench? I don't know. They've given up 150 yards more than any other defense in the NFL through 3 weeks. So
in the Seahawks defense, that's an accurate stat, but they've been up by 2 touchdowns in the third quarter of every game. So every team's going to chuck it on them.
Well, I'm not debating the Seahawks' strength, but that's furthermore for him to have Gallup in the lineup. So that's a confusing move. But yeah, Yusuf's tough with the running backs and Kelsey. He's always going to get points out of Kelsey, Henry, and Elliott. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Yusuf notorious for always winning in a trade. And sitting on potentially 0 quarterbacks. Depending on what happens with that Pittsburgh Tennessee game, he could be going into week 4 with 0 quarterbacks. Tyrod's out another week at least. He's got Drew Lock out another 2 weeks. So I'd imagine some of that depth. Yusuf is always kind of working the phones. I would imagine probably flooded inboxes for trade proposals trying to secure another quarterback, because he's got a tough matchup against AJ in week 4 that you don't want to lose that one. So yeah, scrambling right now. Nice thing that plays out in Yusuf's favor is Dobbins definitely looks like the best back. I still don't know if you're starting him yet. And they seem pretty committed to using all 3 of those guys, but maybe Dobbins becomes a trade piece to try and secure a quarterback, or maybe you can move off of some of that depth on his receivers on the bench. But he's going to have to do something, because you don't want to be starting Brett Rippon on Thursday night against the Jets. That might be.
Nobody wants to see that. From a trade piece perspective, Dobbins is attractive because he's young. Odell is a name. He's not going to trade Henry or Zeke, I don't think. Aside from that, we're looking at this. At Jonnu, I think Jonnu maybe, just because he's putting up points each week. I don't know. We'll see. So let's go to the next game. And Los, I'll start with you on this one.
Yeah.
Just because Casey, Jeff, it's his game. We had J-Tags taking down the RDR, 282 to 223. Massive running back performances. Eckler was a hell of a start. Cook went off. Juju kind of got back into Juju form. And then the Colts defense, we referenced it on the AJ pod with him last week. That Colts defense, although they're playing trash right now, they're scoring. They're making picks. They're turning the ball over and they're scoring. RDR, he got the Mahomes 66, but he needed a Jackson 66. Robinson put up a 40. Thank you, non-Trubisky quarterback. But aside from that, not a lot of action there. So what are your thoughts there, Los, on kind of this game and what you saw?
Yeah, this was, I think I picked this for game of the week because, it's the Carl, right? So, no, but this is definitely a good game. Jeff played it right. He got the better end of the receivers there with Juju versus Deontay. Deontay going out with concussion. Who knows how long he's going to be in concussion protocol. So who knows how long that's going to last for. And he got some hitters there. So Eckler delivered for him. And even you need that Antonio kind of just 15 to 20 points there. That kind of helps. Cook got off like crazy. Yeah, definitely a stacked team there. Jeff is a scary team. And I was watching the Fantasy Insider last week, and I forgot who was saying it. They were saying like the Colts D is like something to be, reckoned with over the next couple of years. Take it with a grain of salt. They really haven't played anybody yet, but they're playing the Jets. But smart move there by picking them up. And this might be the end of Ian's run here. I don't know, man. This could be a telling sign of, him having a shit team for the next couple of years. We'll see. That might be wishful thinking since he has so many damn titles. But I don't see too many bright spots as far as, again, I know he has McCaffrey out.
The hot take.
Yep. He has McCaffrey out, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar. So that's always going to hold him there. But what else does he have there though? That's consistent.
What else do you need? You got those two quarterbacks in CMC. Usually that's been enough for him. Usually you could supplement their receiver maybe a little bit better. But
Sure.
For this year, I think you might be right. But I'm not counting that guy. I got 223 with not a whole lot else there. AJ, any
like I said, maybe more wishful thinking than anything. But yeah,
we're all wishing for that.
All right.
Well, I mean, with Reggie Bonifant on the bench, like, anything's possible for Ian right now. But yeah, no CMC really hurts him. That's pretty much 35 points a game right there, I believe, for him. And Allen Robinson had a huge game, but is he going to have a huge game moving forward with Foles? That'll be what you need to happen. And Jeff, I don't know, man. Calvin Ridley, I hate you for that. I think Jeff owes University of Oregon a huge thank you for Justin Herbert. I think Eckler was actually going to be done with Tyrod was the quarterback all year, but Herbert and Eckler seem to have good chemistry. So, yeah, Jeff's tough.
11 catches. Check down Herbert.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, definitely.
Tyrod wants to go deep all throws. If you watch Tyrod, he always wants to go deep, and Herbert's the complete opposite. So Eckler's going to really benefit from that.
Yeah, definitely a weird game. I mean, I think after week one with Eckler, they realized, okay, we're not going to be very good. Eckler's our best playmaker. We got to get the ball in our hands. Mobile quarterbacks tend to don't check down as much. So Tyrod's never been a guy that's thrown to his backs. But I think after week one, they realized, one target to our best player just doesn't make any sense. So I think Eckler's pretty safe, even if they go back to Tyrod. Clearly, he's better with negative game flows, so that benefits if they're playing Herbert. But wild game. I mean, you never feel confident up big on Ian. It's just a shame. We were both saying game of the century, right? You got Chiefs and Ravens. You got Ian playing Mahomes, Lamar, Andrews. 100-point lead wouldn't have been safe at all, even with Marquise Brown. It's a shame that the game was so decided because of some injuries to Ian's team and just not having good running backs that that game I should have sweated Monday rather than kind of toasting champagne by Sunday night, not even having to worry about those quarterbacks. But kudos to him for making it a game. I mean, Mark Andrews dropped a couple touchdown balls, like he catches those. I sweat a little bit, but Ian's got some hitters. I mean, it's all going to come down to when McCaffrey comes back. If McCaffrey's back within a week or two, he can probably make a run. But if he drops one of the next two, and then McCaffrey doesn't come back for a couple more weeks, then he's going to really have an uphill climb for sure.
Yeah, 7-7 might sneak you in. So long way to go here. Long season. As Ian said on the pod last week, you just never know what's going to happen.
Scary thing about Jeff's team, like he put up those points and he had no Kittle. That's kind of scary.
Unsung mention there. Yeah, Kittle, who I think gets back healthy, he's a 30 to 40 guy every week and focal point of their offense. Jeff's the Niners are scary. One with all those injuries. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one, and I'll lead with AJ just because this is where you're getting beat. Now, the score is ugly, 201 to 170. We both left a lot of cheese on the bench, so I feel better about 201 than maybe I would otherwise. So, AJ, I'll start with you. What was your thought process? You talked earlier before we jumped on here about maybe starting Jefferson. The running back play didn't go very well for you. Aside from that, you were pretty competitive. The Bills let you down in the second half. You got a monster first half D from them. Nothing after that. Break down this game for us.
Yeah, I mean, it was over early. Fournette, I mean, that was pitiful. Haskins threw the 3 interceptions, which, kind of killed his momentum. Now I'm risking losing him for the rest of the season on the bench. Kelly got killed with the fumble. And Traquan, 9:58, I had Jefferson, but I was too scared to hit the submit lineup. I didn't think he was going to be ready yet. But yeah, it was a tough loss, but I'm looking forward to Jefferson and Ruggs coming back, moving them into the lineup with Scary Terry and DK. And I mean, funny story, I checked this box score in the Jaguar game Thursday, and I said, damn, I feel sorry for whoever played James Robinson, only to find out I was the one playing James Robinson. So good start there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad to have Cooper, though, because he would have made it really bad.
Yeah, that was the one mistake I had was last second, Julio's out, Kupp's against the Bills D. I'm thinking that's going to be a slugfest, 17-14. I overthought it. You just keep the better guy in there. That's usually the rule of thought. Los, Jeff, your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, you guys are both in my division. I'm happy you guys are both at 1 and 2.
Ooh, shots fired.
No, I thought AJ was in love with Joe Burrow, so I don't know why you put him on his bench. I mean, I thought you were going to start that guy like every single week, which I think he's going to be a monster in the league in the future. And I really don't say that about a Pittsburgh division opponent, but he's going to be. I think he's going to be.
He's a real deal.
He's a real deal. Early too, like early. I know we got to give him
Haskins and Scary Terry have been kind of heating up, so I figured I might try to sneak a double whammy in there against Cleveland's defense. But yeah, he just never got going. Yeah,
don't ever start Traquan because all Drew does is throw the fucking Alvin Kamara, and I hate that short fucker. Anyways, and then Rockford coming up. Like you said, you left a lot on the bench, which is also kind of scary. Like you got your bench players kind of perform for you, so you got a little depth there. The Cooper, I was like, I don't know why he did that. The Russell Gage, I can see why he did the Gage, but I mean, I'd always like to go for sure hand with the Cooper Cup. But yeah, I mean, not too many points here, so I'm not scared of any one of you. Even though AJ,
we're coming for you, baby. We're coming for you.
Yeah, interesting week for Rockford. I mean, that's a big win. Like you lose that win, you're 0-3. You're wondering about Michael Thomas. You got Jonathan Taylor. You got Tua. 0-3. Then you start looking, okay, depending on what happens in week 4, you got a tough match against Wade. Like you could all of a sudden be playing for next year. Now picking up some of those guys. I mean, you actually have depth now at receiver with some teams kind of looking for receiver. So huge win by
paging Yusuf.
Yeah,
huge win with options now. I mean, I think Lowe sold on T Higgins really early, but sometimes that happens and you're just trying to fill out a roster, but that becomes like a monster piece. And then AJ, will forever be known as the SKFL wide receiver guru because of what happened in 2014. So I know he was feeling extra confident about what Justin Jefferson did, and he becomes a starter. The problem with AJ was he's notorious for always starting 4 receivers and kind of going against his better judgment. Threw in the other receiver, threw in the other running back. And I mean, he flips the game if he just decides to start Jefferson instead. So has some young talent. I mean, both of these teams are kind of ones to watch. They got uphill climbs for sure, but it's kind of nice to see, the game be somewhat close, but they're going to have tough starts because everybody's kind of all in the same range.
All right, well, I just got the 10-minute warning from my free Zoom profile, so that's why we'll kind of go quicker through the glasses. I got a time clock up here, so I can wrap this up quicker. Next, I do want to spend some time, since Los is on the line, we want to spend some time talking about his big win over Randy CD's TD's. Pretty good team name, Randy. Nicely done. A little scare late with Tyreek kind of going off early. Luckily, the Chiefs were ahead the whole time, so that probably slowed him down a little bit. But Los, your team looks very strong early. Definitely a title contender, I think, at this point with that quarterback play. Deep at back, good receivers. There's no holes there. Maybe I'll start with you. Talk about your team a little bit, what you like, what you don't like.
I'm pretty happy with my team so far. My defense has been kind of a shit show, even though I dropped KC and KC put some good points. So I should have brought him back. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The quarterback play, it's just you don't know what you're going to get out of Phillip Rivers. So, I mean, that's kind of the toss up here and there. But hopefully Jimmy gets better here in the future sooner than later. I think I'm okay at the wide receiver position. I think I got a nice little core. We'll see what happens with John Brown. I kind of hesitate on having 2 receivers on the same team. That's I kind of went against the grain there. I typically don't do that. But I'm all around pretty happy with my team. I think I'm in a good position to contend with some of the big dogs. Hopefully, pending my team stays healthy.
I don't disagree. Jeff, Randy's team again put another nice showing up. He got hurt with the Boston Scott start. That's going to hurt anybody any week. But he got 69 from Kamara. Talk about Randy's team, what you've seen so far from him.
Yeah, Randy's team's very good. I mean, he is going to have to cut bait with Wentz or make some tough decisions, but those wide receivers are home run threats. So he's a guy that you never want to play because you can't consistently count on Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's one of those guys. He's either going to go for 40 or he's going to go for 3. And he's just, Tyreek the same kind of way. He's got guys that you can be up on 80 points and then, in 10 minutes of time at 1:00, the game completely flips because Anderson catches a big one. Tyreek catches a big one. The lack of depth, again, going to start hurting people during bye weeks and that stuff. But, he feels pretty confident about Cam Newton. Deshaun's got his bad part of the bye or bad part of the schedule gone, so he can kind of ride out his quarterbacks and kind of wait for Wentz to figure things out. So I actually like Randy's team a lot. I think both these teams are definite contenders. Two teams that you don't really want to play can put up pretty 230 to that 250 mark pretty consistently.
No, not at all. I'm going to move the next game next real quickly here. And I'm going to start with AJ here. Battle of the Isbell brothers. Wade's terrible team name against Blake's equally as challenging team name. We need a little. All right, guys. Isbell brothers, we got to have a come to Jesus meeting about these team names. But I'm going to go to AJ. What do you just see here? I know I cut some of this off, so all the points are out there. My apologies. So your thoughts on this battle of the Isbell brothers?
Well, the wrong brother won for sure. But when you get 62 from Russell. When you get 62 from Russell, you don't expect to lose. The Dion Lewis start really hurt Blake. Tate, Landry, Humphreys didn't do much to help him out. Tyler Boyd's huge game, I think, is what really helped Wade. Josh Allen's a stud right now. Back to Losa's team. I mean, Jalen has the most through 3 games. I think he's like a top 6 quarterback in NFL history through 3. So I think having Brown and Diggs shouldn't be a worry yet. But yeah, you'd like it to be closer for a little bit more shit talking, but the wrong brother won.
The wrong brother won. I look at Wade's team, really deep at receiver right now, really deep at running back right now. He's got, I like his team a lot. I think he's the class of that division, with the exception of Moose. I think him and Moose are the 1-2. Looks like right now each division is kind of a 1-2 show. We're going to go to the dark side against Pay Your Respects, Moose's team. His birthday yesterday. He lobbied openly to be the number 1 in the power rankings tomorrow. It could happen. It may not happen. He's got some competition with Jeffrey here. But I'll go to Jeff. You were with Musa last night. How's he feeling about his team?
Feels really good about his team, and then there's no reason why he shouldn't. I mean, it's why the Fant trade was saved him. Like, regardless of how you feel, I mean, it wasn't a crazy trade, but it completely took a weak spot from Musa's away and made him a strength. I mean, if he's having to play Darnold or Fitzpatrick, in week 5, week 6, that becomes a problem. But now he's, locked into his 2 quarterbacks, and now he has, trade bait. He can move on from one of those quarterbacks and pick up additional depth. I think after, the first third, getting out of the division, Moose was by far the favorite. He's putting up 275 pretty regularly. It's not even a challenge. I mean, he's got better guys on his bench in IR that he doesn't even have to really worry about. So, if things start clicking for him, he's winning without Mike Evans doing much. He's winning without Brady really clicking. It's just, it's going to be pretty smooth sailing. And then, as far as Kenny's team, the perfect team name for what that roster entails, man. It's pretty brutal. It just, if you miss on a second or third round pick, it's pretty impossible to compete. And then if you miss on both of them, you just have no shot.
At least Gronk scored this week, so that's a plus.
Yeah, and it's like he lost Barkley. There's a lot to it. It's not just missing on the Gronk thing. There's some things there that is just brutal for him. That he's got some potential to kind of sneak in and get back in it, but the Darrell Henderson pickup, looks like the best waiver claim of the. He didn't even have to waiver him, but it's the best free agent pickup of the season. He looks to be a thing, and that could become. It's too bad that the Barkley injury season ending. He could probably survive a couple week injury, but his receivers are just going to be challenging. He's got me in week 4, so that's not going to be easy. So he'll be staring at 0-4 for sure.
And
prediction. Then it becomes a big challenge. He's got to worry about the Pittsburgh thing too. So I mean, I'm sitting there with Juju kind of hoping the Pittsburgh game gets canceled. He loses Big Ben, he loses Connor, he loses his D. So let's get that thing rescheduled to week 7 or something. Let's have that be the one COVID game. And yeah, we'll have Dark Side at 1 and 3.
Yeah, Musa has a scary team. I'll be honest. Like looking over this, I'll be honest. I didn't look at Musa's team a lot. I know he had a good team, but man, he has a deep team, and like they're all, like Jeff was saying, they're all hitters. Like you're getting good points out of these guys everywhere. These guys don't miss. They don't have shitty weeks. They don't go weeks and weeks with shitty weeks. Yeah, he's got a tough team. Yeah, I see him number 1 in the power rankings for sure.
AJ, I got about 30 seconds left. Any final thoughts on this game? Moose's team is maybe the best in the league.
Moose is going to go as far as Dak carries him. If Dak's getting him 53 points a week, Cooper's going to be getting him 25 plus a week. Like, he's tough. If they go back to Elliott and slow Dak down, he'll struggle. But it's Musa.
Yeah.
Although everyone knows Rob will give it to Casey. I think there's a little bit more to that than fantasy, but Musa, enjoy being number 2 this week, brother.
Landed an elite defense too. I mean, you're feeling pretty good every week starting Tampa's D.
Right.
That's
get a 47 there.
Especially with that conference right now.
True.
Or that division. I mean, with the Saints struggling, the Panthers, and I don't know what the hell's going on in Atlanta, but
their division for sure. Well, AJ, Los, Jeffrey, thank you for joining me today. We're going to do a special one tomorrow night. Cassie works late, so we'll have our rankings show, and I might invite some people on if you're available. So thank you for joining, guys. We'll talk soon. I'll put this up as soon as we can. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
Sounds good, Rob.